Hey, everybody. We just got back from state conference. Interesting to note, we went to every single session. The word single was not said a single time. So hang on, we're going to discuss that.
I'm Linnea.
I'm Samantha.
And I'm Buzz. We are the LDS Singles Anonymous. And we all went to state conference. Last night we went together. Today we all went separate. And we all sat in our separate places and listened to all of the talks from the very beginning till the very end, and even stayed for an hour after to talk to people. The word single was never said once. So, how do you, as a single member of the church, come home from a general conference or a state conference when every time they addressed a woman, they addressed her as a mother and a wife, not a woman that is fully capable and helps the community and helps the ward and helps the stake, that might be a single woman, or a man that's not a husband and father? You know, there are some other places that we can help the system other than husband, father, mother, wife, spouse.
Yeah, it was very interesting. That was the thing that most, I wouldn't say surprised me, but made a bigger impact on me, was the fact that the only time women were mentioned was to refer them as a wife or mother. And most of the time it was a mother with several children.
No. They basically rated people.
They did.
How many children do you have still in the church? How many grandchildren do you have
still in the church?
How many great-grandchildren do you have that served missions and are still in the church and were married in the temple and da-da-da-da-da? Those are wonderful things. We're getting left out. We're not leaving the church. How do we come home and feel good about ourselves being single after hearing that for 4 hours or 6 hours or 10 hours if it's general conference?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we want this to be the single show. Like, we're not saying that we want to be praised or, like, put on a soapbox or anything like that. But, I mean, it would be nice for me, sitting in the very back, to hear that, hey, even if you don't have this family unit that everybody is striving for, even if you are just one person living your life, doing the best you can, as long as you're living the gospel and keeping your covenants, that's what Christ is wanting for you, and you're doing it. You are fulfilling your purpose in this life.
And I don't really care. I'm super stubborn. I'm not leaving anything, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here, and I will outlive all of them. They'll all be gone and dead, and I'll walk by their graves, and that's fine. And I'll still be here. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm worried about the people that feel what I feel and see what I see that aren't as stubborn as me. Because it would be really easy to come home and just sit and cry in a fetal position in your bed and go, they really don't care about singles.
I've had several conversations with so many different friends, all having that same feeling, just saying, I just don't feel like I belong. The church doesn't really feel like it fits into my life because I don't fit into the church. It's a constant challenge for all singles to have to figure out if really is there a place for us there. And it's frustrating.
So, rather than draw on the negative, let's look to the positive. How do we go about this?
Well, I think a huge thing for me is finding like-minded people to become friends with who share my struggles and frustrations and allow me to talk through them and just being open and honest and having real conversations and having fun with those friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Finding a place.
yeah. Because sometimes if you can't find a place, sometimes you have to create your own place. I know they say grow where you're planted. I say, like, bulldoze where you're planted. Because if you don't like your surrounding, I feel like you should just create your own surrounding. Like, get some bricks, get some paint, make it colorful, make yourself comfortable. Like, it doesn't mean you have to squish yourself into the cookie cutter format. You can make your surrounding fit you. You don't have to necessarily fit your surrounding.
Well, and there's, especially those of us that are a little older, there's a lot of people that want to fit the cookie cutter, but it's just not happening. Or there's just not anybody in my area. Or, wow, there's just so few people to choose that are at my age that like the things that I like or have even the same goals. How many people do you know of in the single scene, especially the older ones, that say, I want to be there, but it's just not happening? I bet there are lots of...
Bet a lot of them.
There's probably lots of
Probably.
ladies between the age of 40 and 60 that haven't been asked out in a decade.
I mean, I know people my age who haven't been asked out in a decade. Like, it's not even just an older singles
Nope.
thing anymore.
Nope.
There are just a lot of challenges with that in any age with being single. But yeah, you're right. I feel like there are a lot of people who want that ideal life that they keep talking about in church all the
Right.
time. And it's painful to not have it.
It's not like we're saying, wow, this is the better way to be. Come join us. No, we're saying we'd really like to be you, but we haven't had the chance, or it just didn't work out, or, whether it be health concerns, or we live in a fallen world. There's a million reasons for us to be where we're at right now. We just want to actually feel like we're accepted. Not, hey, you're accepted. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go give a talk where I'm going to basically say you're not accepted. I just...
Yeah, I think recently that statistic came out a couple years ago recently where they said that over half the church was now single.
Yeah.
And I do find it fascinating that there hasn't been a bigger push on a smaller level. I think on an upper, like in general conference, I feel like they're doing a better job on focusing more on the Savior and on the covenants that we make individually.
Right.
And
Right.
that I think is the one thing that helps
Right.
me, like when I come home from, watching general conference or from church or whatever. Those are the messages that speak to me
Sure.
because I can be
'Cause those are global.
they're global and they are uniform.
Right.
You can have a good relationship with your heavenly parents and with your Savior on your own. You need no one else to do that.
Yep.
And those are the messages. I think they're starting to get more into those in general conference. And those are the ones that stick with me.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that I find that's the moment when I find, yes, okay, I do still fit into the gospel, at least. I fit into the gospel because I can still have a relationship with them without someone else in my life.
So here's my view for single world from here on out. Like, I'm going to create the optimal little globe for the single world. And the optimal little globe is a singles group where we're all friends. A singles group where you can come and instantly feel like you belong. Not we're going to have a dance for them so they can single off and go away. And single off and go away. We're going to do speed dating so they can meet as many people as they can so as many can pair off and go away. No, I want a single scene where we can all be friends. I want to go out to ice cream together, and I want us to get to the point where you say, I was going to go out to eat at this place in 45 minutes. I'm going to put a message out to the group, and maybe 7 or 10 people will show up. And because there's people sitting at home going, I don't really feel like cooking. And if a message came up and there was a place, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, and it said, hey, I'm going to eat at this place in 30 minutes. awesome. I didn't feel like cooking. It would be nice to talk to some people and to have that safe place be comfortable enough where you know the right people are going to be there, and you can go there and just have a meal with everybody and meet 2 new people. And I don't care if it's 1,000 women or 1,000 men or 500 and 500. I don't care about this. Pair them up and make them go away. Pair them up and make them go away.
It is.
Let's get a singles group that we can be happy, that we can be healthy, that we can be safe. And when I decide I want to go to the boat races next weekend, I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to the boat races, da-da-da-da-da. And by Friday, there's like 18 people that want to go, and we go in 2 vans, and we go and we have a great time. That's what I envision my ultimate singles scene to be. I'm tired of let's have a dance for those terrible singles so they can go off and get married and become one of us.
They always want to fix it.
Well,
that's the problem.
My thing is if you force to fix it, you're either going to force people into bad relationships. If everybody's together and everybody's having fun and everybody's feeling safe, that's when you're going to find someone and, possibly leave our singleness.
It's really funny. There's actually a events planner place thingy in Arizona called Singles Events and Adventures. And like if you sign up and go to their events, in their fine print, it actually says you can't date other members.
Yeah.
So, like their goal is you have to be single in order to go to the events, and if you date other members, then you are technically no longer single. So you have to stay single in order to go to those events. So basically,
well, I think that's a way to that's a way to keep it from trying to be hookup culture.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to find somebody. They say they're going on they're going tubing the river. Good, everybody's going to be in bikinis. I'll be there.
And it keeps, I feel like personally that makes me feel safer. There was a small conversation recently where the first question out of this random man's mouth, he came up and he was like, these are the single people, right? We're the single people. And my instant thought was to curl up and walk away. Like, no, I don't. You're not going to pin me down and say, the reason I'm talking to you now is because I'm going to be asking you out. Like, that just makes me uncomfortable right off the bat, because then I know you're going to be looking at me just as a wife and mother, and you're only going to be thinking about how can I get her to say yes to a date. You're not going to be trying to get to know me as a person. You're not going to be trying to find out if there's even anything in common between us to be friends, much less go on a date. Like, your instant... You're on the hunt, and removing that and saying we're not on the hunt. We're trying to be friends. Let's just be friends. And then if something grows out of it organically and you have to leave the group, that's fine. But that takes off that pressure that feels like that's the only purpose in you being at this activity. And then you can be yourself and you can have fun and you can actually feel like you belong there.
Right. Comfortable. Comfortable and safe. Those are the 2 words for me. So I don't know how we're going to get there. I don't know how we're going to make that happen in our different areas. I know I'm moving to a new area. I seriously am going to make a big effort to have the singles group in that area be that, because I just got some numbers, and half of the stake is single people over 30.
Wow.
I don't know how that could possibly be, but I want to get there. And I want, hey, I'm going to the symphony this weekend, and get 15 people and all buy tickets and all sit next to and all go in carpool. I want it to be safe. I want it to be comfortable, but I want a place that's not 2 people hanging out.
Yeah.
I want a thing that when somebody says we're going to go on a hike this weekend, that 25 people go, and there's a group of 100 or 200 or 500 that will go on occasions to these activities. I don't know how to do it. If you have some ideas, drop them in the comments. But that's my vision, and maybe my vision is wrong. But as I see it, we need to make the single scene whole. Like you said, you need friends around you. So when you come home from a thing where they tell you that if you're not a wife and mother, you're not fulfilling, the ends of your creation, and maybe you just don't have the opportunity.
So you need somewhere to talk about it. You need
Yeah.
people to be around you.
So let's get those friend groups.
Let's build it. Let's
You
take
tell
our bricks
us.
and our paint and let's
Yes.
build it.
Yes. Yeah. Or bulldozer, as she says. I would pay money to watch you drive a bulldozer. I absolutely would. Not anywhere near my house, but a bulldozer nonetheless.
We'll put it on the list for one of our activities.
Cha-ching.
But seriously, do please post below. Let us know what your ideas are. If this is something that you find a good idea, I really think it would be a great thing to know. Thanks so much. This is LDS Singles Anonymous.
Bye.